Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Underdog episode. Today we got Season 4, Episode 3, Command. The sound of boots is pattering on mud. Frogs are croaking in the downpour of rain, dripping from the leaves of the tall jungle trees. 3 pairs of brown boots are the origin of the pattering sound, water spitting up from the muddy ground. Camo cargo pants fitted with a tucked-in black shirt are worn by all 3 of them, a cadet hat topping their buzzed heads. They are marching, holding compact guns, leaning them towards the ground. They continue marching, glancing from the dense forest around them and then to the path ahead of them, which is narrow and windy. Eventually, the one in the front of the line stops, looking into the forest, arming his gun. The other 2 stop and look in the same direction, also arming their guns. The bushes inside the forest are rustling. One of the men starts to approach the sound. As one of them gets close to it, a spotted cat comes zooming out of it. All 3 of them exhale and de-arm their guns. They start to get back into the line and are about to begin walking again until a quick zip goes through the quiet air as one of the men drop. A minute hole ripped through the man's head in the back of the line. The others noted this and immediately armed their guns, one of them facing left and the other facing right. They both are zipping everywhere. "Come out!" They're both just looking all over the forest before another bullet goes zipping through the air into the head of one of the men, leaving only one standing there. All the bushes rustle around the man, as over 10 black-armored people exit onto the trail surrounding the man, holding up small handguns, pointing at him, who is now frantically pointing his weapon at everyone, realizing he's overpowered. He tosses his gun onto the ground and raises his hands above his head. Who are you people?" The people fully surround him now, still pointing their guns at him. 2 of the people move, creating an opening in the circle. Someone dressed like everyone else walks through the opening. One thing sticks out in this person, though, an S tattooed onto their forehead. The man bends down and picks up the gun and holds it, not pointing at the person. "We're the Serpents." The man inspects the gun, noticing something. Name's Derek Misner. Misner flips a switch on the side of the gun, and unlike you, the Misner points the barrel of the man's head. "I know how to turn the safety off." Misner puts his finger over the trigger. It cuts to Alan, his hands planted on the main console. The rest of the team, besides Dylan, of course, is standing in front of him. I mean, what the hell? Alan is staring at the console blankly.
He had an S on his forehead.
So?
He looked army. We had a group on our hands.
Listen, I'm not siding with them or anything, but Rotor was a threat. That doesn't change the fact that he got shot in cold blood. But, yeah. Alan leans down, propping his elbows up and placing his face in his palms. Noticing this, the team branches off, away from the console. Jake and Zara sit on the couch in the warehouse.
Ruthless, army group, fun.
Slow your roll. We don't even know who they are yet.
Oh, I can assume the rest.
They can't be part of the actual military. Jake nods in response. I'm gonna go talk to Dylan. Maybe he'll know something.
I'll come back with a black eye.
When's the last time you talked to him? Jake glares at Zara before walking away. It cuts the man holding an egg above a bowl. With 2 hands, very carefully, he cracks the egg and opens it, letting the yolk fall into the bowl. He turns around, but as he does, a woman walks towards him, giggling. "You have... I know." It shows the man's face, which is dirty with white powder. "Get Riley, I'm snapping this." The man rolls his eyes, but goes to the edge of the kitchen and shouts down the hallway. "Riley!" Riley's head peeks out on one of the doors. She raises an eyebrow. "What?" "Your mom wants to take a photo of us." Riley groans, fully stepping out of her room and coming to the kitchen, trying to hide her laugh. "Laugh it up." The man brings his hands up, flicking flour onto Riley's face. She widens her eyes and mouth. "Dad, what the hell?" Language. Riley rolls her eyes as the woman comes to the kitchen, staring at Riley's face. "All right. Jeez." She lifts up the camera to her eyes, positioning it in front of the 2. They smile big as the flash on the camera flashes, and she looks at the screen of the camera, smiling. She flips the camera around to show the picture. As the camera zooms in on it, it cuts to the same picture, but the part with the man is teared off, and the picture is slightly faded. The camera pans to the left, showing Misner sharpening a knife with a rock. Focus solely on it. In the background, someone begins to approach the tent Misner is sitting in. With one more stroke of the rock, sending some sparks out, he turns to the opening of the tent as the person reaches it. Misner raises an eyebrow. Those three we found in the trail are part of a bigger group. Misner looks back to the knife, sliding the rock against it again. Where? Over east, across the creek. Pretty big compound. Was there any cells or holding quarters? The soldier takes a shaky inhale. I don't know. Could be underground. Misner gets up and tosses the rock onto the dirt under the tent, getting in the soldier's face. Misner grabs an AR that's leaning on a stone. Well, let's go. It cuts to Dylan sitting on his mattress at the top of the office building, reading a book. Luckily, there's a warm breeze coming in through the broken window. He groans and tosses the book out the window, putting his hands in his face. A small knock sounds behind him. Dylan stands up and holds his hand out, freezing the person behind him, but he eases his powers after seeing it's Zara. Didn't know you knew I was cooped up here. Dylan steps away from Zara, plopping back onto the mattress. This place kinda sucks ass, you know. Zara ambles to the bed and sits next to Dylan, staring out at the shattered window. So what's up? Zara seems taken back by Dylan's calm tone, used to his angry tone everyone's gotten used to. Is there something on my face? Dylan touches around his face, making Zara crack up in laughter. No! I just wanted to see you. Dylan lowers his hand away from his face, placing it on the space at the mattress between Zara and Dylan. I saw Rotor died. Zara sighs, relaxing her shoulders a bit. It was terrible. We tried to save him, but there was some guy just shot him. The news didn't show the guy. Couldn't get a video. Zara clicks her tongue. Of course they didn't. Did you get a good look at him? Zara nods. He's wearing all black, kind of like armor. Dylan ponders, trying to think of anyone who matched the description. This weird S was tatted on his forehead. Dylan still is thinking, nothing clicking yet. Oh, and on his shoulder was this S with a snake intertwined in it. That's all Dylan needed. His eyes shot up into Zara's. A snake? Dylan's voice is intense. Zara squints her eyes. Yeah? So there's more than 4. Zara cocks an eyebrow at Dylan's self-conversation. You know something about him? Okay, so, story time. Zara shifts on the mattress, her body facing Dylan. That window's broken because some dude with his jetpack crashed in and took me into some complex. Zara blinks, stunned. And you're just now telling me? Dylan scoffs. I wasn't planning a therapy session with you today. Zara smacks Dylan's arm. It'd be nice to know the next time you want to talk about your near-death experience. Wasn't even close to dying. Zara glares at Dylan. You got kidnapped, and I got out, so don't be so careless with your life. But that guy with the S on his forehead, he's a threat. Dylan backs out the window. For right now, let's just talk about something else. Zara nods, shifting closer to Dylan. You ever moving out of here? Dylan shrugs. I don't know. More privacy here. Oh, can't forget the more kidnapping. Dylan grows. Would you drop that? Zara laughs, hovering a hand over her chest. You get mad easily, you know. Dylan scoffs, looking off to the side. Relax, damn. You know I've been thinking a lot. Wow, your brain does something magnificent. I'm serious. Okay. About what? Alright, so back when I first got my powers, we theorized that I was supposed to get 7. Zara's mouth opens slightly, confused. And what is there to be thinking about? Dylan takes a deep breath. I've only gotten 6, but now 5 since the healing. Whoosh. Zara nods. So you're expecting a 7th? When's the power shower? Dylan sighs, letting his head drop. Do you think your last power will be awesome or just lame? Hopefully something awesome like teleportation. Nah, let's just keep that to me. Zara says, spinning her finger, releasing some purple sparkles. I ever tell you that my dad might be alive? No? Well, he is, and I'm trying to figure out where he is. Dylan points at the corkboard with the pictures of Lotus and his dad, stringed together by red lines. Any leads? Gone cold. Dylan runs his hands through his hair. Motherboard. Dylan looks at Zara lost. The motherboard you got from Lotus. Dylan's eyes begin to widen as he stands up off the mattress, going towards the stash of items next to it. He begins rummaging through it, Zara hovering behind him, peeking over his shoulder to see what he's doing. Dylan reaches the bottom of the stack, pulling out the motherboard, still intact. He blows off the dust on it, getting up and facing Zara. Wait, what am I supposed to do with it? Zara chuckles, grabbing the motherboard from Dylan. She looks at it, raising it up to eye level, taking deep breaths. Eventually, a portal to their right opens. Zara and Dylan look at each other before it cuts to a girl holding an arrow back on a bow, shakily. Somebody's hands go on the bow holder's shoulder, making them relax. The girl takes a deep breath and releases the arrow. It flies through the air and lands in a bullseye of a target. The girl eases on the string of the bow and smiles. The other girl lets go of their shoulders and gives them a reassuring smile. As the bow holder goes to retrieve the arrow, a loud blaring sound plays from the outside of the metal gates surrounding the complex. The girl's smile disappears as she looks at the origin of the sound. Then a voice comes over a megaphone. "We don't mean harm." The girl frantically looks around, seeing someone running towards the wall. It cuts to the man running, now climbing up a ladder on the wall. At the top of the wall, the man sees two black, armored trucks parked in the front of the wall, the engines running. Standing on top of one of the trucks is Misner, the one holding the megaphone. Misner smiles at the sight of the man atop the wall. "So, my daughter, where is she?" The man scrunches his face. "Who's your daughter?" Misner chuckles, lowering the megaphone. The cicadas in the forest buzzing. He raises it back to his mouth again. "This is your last warning." The man on the wall looks behind him, nodding at something behind the wall. He looks back at Misner. "And this is yours." A line of people mount weapons on the wall, aimed at Misner and the trucks. Misner cocks his head. "Well, all right then." A loud explosion happens behind the armed guards, making them all turn around to see a group of serpents invading into the complex. Misner throws the megaphone into the van and steps onto the hood to the ground. He raises his arms and signals the rest of the serpents to attack. 8 serpents come from behind and pull out grappling machines, shooting and attaching onto the wall. Shooting and screaming can be heard on the other side of the wall. The hooks attach to the top of the wall, and they begin to scale it. Misner is amongst this group, being the first to get to the top and climb over. Inside the walls, bodies are scattered, some serpents and some of the camp's own. Misner scans inside the walls, 4 cube buildings, all painted a stale gray color. All of them have the same design except for one of them, which has a more homey-style roof. This catches Misner's eye. He slides down the ladder, landing on the uncut grass. He begins walking through the tomb-yard of bodies, as bullets zip past him. He's unfazed by this as he makes his way to the building. As he gets near the door, one of the camp members charges towards Misner with a metal spear. Without even looking, Misner pulls out a pistol and shoots the person down. Misner reaches the door and goes for the handle. He opens the door and goes in and arms a flashlight with his pistol, illuminating the dark room. He scans the walls, seeing chalkboards and goals written on them. Hit target from 50 meters away. Learn ancient bow techniques. Hit the apple off Mr. T's head. Misner moves the flashlight over to see chairs and desks and bows placed in a barrel. He finds a gray door in the corner of the room. He makes at his target and begins walking towards it, stepping on the black concrete floor. He pushes his desk out of his way, reaching the door. He puts his ear up to it, listening. Nothing. He opens the door and goes inside, closing it behind him. Misner looks around the room. It's smaller than the room he just came from. The room is completely empty, excluding the scratch marks on the wall. Misner reaches up for the walkie-talkie on his chest, beginning a transmission. "She's not here. Ready the trucks." Misner stops the transmission and looks up and sits on the ground, rubbing his face and eyes. The walkie crackles. "We found something you might want to see." This makes Misner freeze and stop rubbing his face. He looks up and turns around at the door. It cuts to a lifeless robot body inside a closet lying against a pile of clothes, facing away from the opening of the closet. Behind the clothes, Zara's portal opens, and her and Dylan walk out. It cuts to an angle behind Dylan and Zara where the robot body is out of sight. The two look out down the white hallway. Is this a house? There's family portraits hung on the walls and a yellow swirl painted down the hallway. "I'll go down here." Dylan points to the right of him and Zara, where there's an intersection of closed doors. "All right, don't die." Dylan exhales sharply through his nose and goes down the hallway, making Zara chuckle and turn to the other way of the hallway. Zara begins walking down the hallway and hears muffled voices. Zara stiffens at this and sneaks to the edge of the wall, peeking over. She sees a tile floor and a dining table. Zara moves past the wall, making both the people look up at her. The girl at the table gets shocked by but the boy groans, leaning his head on his hands. "Well, shit. Who's this lady?" It's Alan and Mandy sitting at the table. Mandy looks to Alan, confused. "You know this girl?" Alan grumbles again, pulling his head out of his hands. "You mind?" Zara crosses her arms and leans against the wall, staring at Alan. "Who's the girl?" Mandy looks up to Zara. I'm Mandy, his cousin. How do you two know each other? Alan looks to Zara to answer, but she smiles and raises her eyebrows at Alan. We, went to school together. Zara tries to hold back a laugh and nods her head. Man, real jock over here. Alan gives a forced chuckle. You know, how did you get in here without using the front door? Alan says in a condescending tone, oh, you know, I just love breaking into places. Sorry, I happened to stumble into here. Alan rolls his eyes and gets out of his chair, walking towards Zara and whispering to her, why are you here? Zara responds back in whisper, cousin? Zara gasps. She thinks you're related. Shut up. Mandy is still sitting, now looking at her phone. Oh, Alan, when she finds out you're not blood?
That won't be a problem because that's not happening.
All right, go talk to your cousin. Alan scoffs and returns to the dining table, glaring at Zara, as Mandy sets her phone down and resumes talking to Alan, definitely about Zara. Dylan appears at the end of the hallway, beckoning for Zara. She goes on into the hallway to him. Did you find anything? Dylan shakes his head, making Zara sigh. Then why the hell did my portal take us here? Zara looks around the hallway, exasperated. Do they ever not work? Zara stops looking around, stepping towards the closet of clothes. Zara begins to throw the clothes out of the closet, hitting them against the wall. Could you be any louder? There's no one even here. Dylan squints his eyes at Zara, who's still chucking clothes out of the closet. What are you even doing? Dylan trails off as the body robot falls onto the ground, not being able to lean against the mound of clothes anymore. The two look at each other before bending down and grabbing the body. Zara makes a portal behind them, and they back into it. The portal swirls shut, and it cuts to the body sitting on top of a table in Dylan's makeshift house. Dylan and Zara standing in front of it. Some girl named Mandy was there, too. Dylan looks to Zara, surprised. And Alan? Oh, I see now. Zara nods. Why the hell did Mandy have this? I don't think it was Mandy who got it. Dylan looks over to Zara, who's staring back at him. It cuts to a trio of serpents at the compound. The one in the middle holding a picture. Misner walks up to them as they hand him a picture. It's a picture of Riley posing in front of the Empire State Building. Misner gristles at the photo. Where did you get this? The one in the middle speaks. It was on the body of one of their people. Misner slips the picture in his pocket and walks past the serpents, getting on his walkie again. Get the trucks ready. We're going to the Big Apple. It cuts to a row of 6 black trucks driving down a highway, the city visible in the distance. It cuts inside the truck. Misner is sitting in the passenger seat staring at the photo. Where do you think she is? The serpent driving the car looks over to Misner. I don't know, but I guarantee he has something to do with it. Misner points to Underdog, who's in the background of the photo, looking angry. It cuts to Jake sitting in the warehouse, writing on something with a pencil. He looks up from the paper and looks to a wall of the warehouse, cutting to the grave near the warehouse. The dirt and wooden cross are calm, but there are footsteps walking over it. It cuts back to Jake, who looks away from the wall and back on the paper, crossing something off of it.